How we doing, everybody? Welcome to the podcast. This podcast is in the making of, and today I have my guest, Cody Roman, on. He has an incredible company and does copywriting, and we're going to let him take away the show. Today is all about him. So, Cody, please take it away, my friend.
Hey, Eddie, I
Introduce
appreciate
yourself.
that. I appreciate the introduction. So my name's Cody Roman. I'm a copywriter right now for real estate businesses. I'm focusing on either education or tech, anything that you'd really send a lot of people to your website for and try and convert them for something. So a little bit about me, my background, I was, coming out of high school, I was wanting to get into engineering, and all my life I wanted to become an entrepreneur of some sort, but I didn't really know what that meant up until I accidentally stumbled upon white label products that I could buy overseas and resell them at a markup over here in the US. So I started doing that for a while. And that was kind of a way for me to make money in college without having to get like a part-time job, because I knew that would suck the life out of me and I wouldn't have time to do homework. So I started doing that, and I accidentally discovered, oh, this is like entrepreneurship right now. I'm running a business. And
Right.
yeah, it was one thing led to another. I ended up dropping out of college to pursue that full time. And it came to a point where, I didn't have much experience running a business, and it ended up blowing up in my face. So a mentor advised me to go towards the service route. So that's what got me here in the copywriting business.
Very cool. So, I gotta be this guy for a minute. At one time, I was the guy that, not super tech savvy, thought that copywriting was that little brand that's next to your name, like that little trademark. That's kind of what copywriting was. So that's not at all what copywriting is it?
Oh no, I thought the same thing at first when I was running my business, and I'd listen to these podcasts about people talking about copywriting this, copywriting that. And I was in the process of getting a few copyrights like for my logos and all this other stuff. Rookie mistake, by the way, you don't really need those that much. It's not as important as cash flow. But
Right.
that's what I thought it was. And I thought, oh, copywriting. Well, I guess I've been doing that kind of, getting copyrights.
Yeah.
But then
Right.
one like down the line, I ended up finding out this is like the thing I want to be doing the rest of my life. So I'm in this for the long game. I'll probably be copywriting for a long time.
Yeah, 100%, man. And so during your process, so explain, you were in school, you're going to college, and then there had to be something that clicked there. Like, what was your why? Like, what was, your story? You told your story. So what was the why? What was why you really went to this? You touched on boring, but like, what was the real thing that like really kept you up at night?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a little something about me that, everybody that I went to high school with knows about it, because I had to leave for a while because of it. And nowadays I kind of use it as my, driving factor. But when I was 15, I was a freshman in high school, and I got diagnosed with leukemia. So
Oh,
I had to
wow.
leave school, and I had to, transfer schools. And I was out for a long time, came back, struggled to kind of, keep up with class because I'd missed 3/4 of a school year, ended up pulling everything back together, graduating on time. And then, throughout the whole process, chemo and all the steroids and stuff that they give you, it kind of, it doesn't ruin your body, but your body really takes a toll. And
I'm
I had
sure.
to get
Yeah.
it's kind of funny, or not funny, but in a way it's like the reason why I'm pursuing all this business stuff, and the reason I want to, build businesses and eventually that's all I do, is because I had to get double hip replacements. And so because of that, I don't have a fallback plan to like go to
Yep.
like a hands-on job. Cause right now,
Yep.
like I'm doing some side projects and stuff, and I'm like helping people out. I'm having to walk a lot on like concrete floors, and
Yeah.
I can feel the timer ticking. Like as I'm doing it, it's
Yeah.
like my hips might hurt tomorrow. And then,
Right.
but I always have this North Star. It's like, if I can figure out, copywriting is the first step, because then I'll be able to make money from wherever, as long as I have a Wi-Fi connection. And
Yep.
from there, it'll just be, building on top of that, using my skills to build businesses from afar or anywhere that I won't have to walk as much, because I want to get as much out of these prosthetics as possible.
Well, man, I got to tell you, so I started out in a very industrial path myself. I put my body through a lot. And I know that even at 40 years old, I'm already paying for some of that. Like if I sit on the couch too much, like I can tell how much hard work. I was always big into racing and stuff like that. Had quite a few accidents, so tons of broken bones, and through that journey, and then I spent a lot of years on the concrete. Spending hours upon hours. 16, 18 hours a day, like in the factory, like breathing the stuff and everything else. And you can kind of see older people that have done that their whole life. You look at their hands, their fingers are kind of all crooked and stuff from arthritis. And, they've really beat on themselves. So, I got to say, you're probably really lucky. Things happen for a reason, in my opinion. And you're probably really lucky to have things that's happened like that for you that you didn't fall victim to. Like, you instantly started thinking about the things that you wanted to do different because of your body. Like you could have went down the road of just getting a factory job, and just working your butt off and then realizing all the damage you've done to your body. But instead, you had like an early warning and say, man, like I've got to preserve this. And I think this is a really good place to talk about this. I'm big on health. I know you follow me. You see what I do and things like that. And I like really push the envelope. But there's a reason for that. I'm trying to make up for all the bad decisions I made earlier in my life. So I'm trying to fix health. I'm trying to fix these things. But you look at something a lot different, and I think this will all bring this into focus. If you were to buy one car that would last you your entire life. I ask people this all the time. I was like, if you were to buy one vehicle and that vehicle is the only one you're going to buy for the rest of your life, how well would you take care of that vehicle? Go ahead. Say, how well would you take care of that vehicle?
Probably change the oil every week, make sure it's all good, rotate the tires, get new tires, all this stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't beat it like I do right now.
Right. You would do anything possible. And then I asked the question, okay, you were given one vehicle, this right here, to go through the entire life, your lifespan. Are you changing oil? Are you putting the right stuff in it? Are you putting good gas in the tank? Are you, rotating your tires? Are you doing the things that's going to last you a long time? Like, are you treating your body right? I honestly feel like you are. So, man, high five to you for thinking outside the box and doing these things and realizing, man, I got to get the most out of these hips. Like, I got to get the most out of what I'm doing here. So you really had to think outside the box. So that's your why. Man, that's incredible. Thank you for being so strong.
I have another thing to add on, my why, as aside from like putting health first,
Yep.
is just recently. So I still run my e-commerce business on the side,
Yeah.
but with projects loading up for copywriting, I can't fulfill orders because like I even have some boxes right here. They're fulfilled by hand. They're not drop shipped or anything. Um, Recently I hired my sister as kind of like a fulfillment partner. So she just has to come over here once a day, fulfill, like bring them to the post office, ship for me. And I've been paying her, a percentage of the sales to do that. And I'd say like another pillar of my why is being able to help my family, because she said that I like helped at just the right time. And so to be able to, take a large cut of what I'm getting back from the business and just give it to her is, I'm very happy with the small cut that I'm giving myself out of that, because it's helping her more than it's helping me, if that makes sense. So
yeah,
that's another part of my why.
That's why we do what we do, man. It really is. So in the highlight of this podcast, so in this journey, in the making of these businesses, go through that for a minute. Like, talk about the struggles, talk about, the things you learned. And like, so like, I always say, how cool would it have been if like Jeff Bezos, Amazon or somebody like that, they would have like videoed the process like a documentary. And like, I almost lost the company today. Like, he started out with like a piece of cardboard on the wall. It would have been so cool if they would have like documented that journey. You know, Elon Musk, he does a little bit of it now, but when he started out with like PayPal, if he would have like videoed everything, that would have been so awesome. So take us through that journey a little, like in the making of your business and in your journey, like talk about those things real quick if you can.
Yeah, so like I gotta say in the beginning I got very lucky
Mm-hmm.
because I just happened to, I always bought a lot of crap on wish.com and like AliExpress, and I just buy so much random stuff I don't need.
Yeah.
And then I got the idea like, oh, why don't I just buy a bunch of these and resell them like a lot of people already do. So
Mm-hmm.
I discovered that right about like during the COVID boom. So every first product I had, like in the physical products business, was by chance. I feel like I didn't do any work to find them, and
Mm-hmm.
right out the gate they were making like 5-10K a month, and that was it was a very bad teacher because, like I said, after I dropped out, I'd ran my business for um about a year and a half while I was in college, and
Mm-hmm.
then that's when I dropped out. It was all going great, and then out of nowhere, like 2022 in April, e-commerce sales go down, and it hits my
Mm-hmm.
business as well. Sales literally went
Yep.
to zero. They didn't go from, 100 orders a day to like 20 even. They went from 100 to zero. So
Oh no.
that was a huge, like, it was a huge bomb that went off right in front of me. And I've had several of these bombs. Yeah, I won't go into all of them, but every time
Sure.
it happens, the first couple times I was like, this is the end. I think I should go
Yeah.
back to college and keep doing engineering. But then I would end up right where I am now again, like except 5 years
Yeah.
later. But
Yeah.
now anytime I see a disaster coming up or a disaster that happened because of me, I'm like, my friend, we meet again.
I'm thinking about doing a motivational speech here coming up, and it's all about the bigger the dream and the bigger the mountain you're going to climb, the harder life's going to hit you. I mean, you're going to have to get to understand that you're getting ready to climb in the ring with Mike Tyson for like 17 rounds if you want to go to a millionaire in 1 year. Like, that's what it's going to take. Physically, mentally, you're going to have to deal with it because, man, when you strive for anything outside the ordinary, it's just going to hit you right in the mouth. And
Oh yeah.
everybody's got a plan until you get hit in the mouth. And then you're like, ooh, man, that felt good. So you can either choose to, get out of the ring or just keep pushing forward.
Yeah, exactly. I was throwing left, right hooks, jabs all in the beginning, and I was kicking it, and then
Yeah.
it got me back twice as hard. And I'm like, oh man, but
Yeah.
that's the name of the game. I mean, I've got to a point where I'm not really scared of any failures that happen or that come up. I'm totally in control in a way. I know God's helping me as well, but for the most part, He gets me there. He gets me halfway, and I'm supposed to finish it. And
Right.
so, and
You know,
also, it's
I love that. Not many people know, about my story. I haven't told it much. I'm kind of saving it for when I'm maybe the Ed Milet level keynote speaker and in stage in front of, several thousand people. But I have to believe in God myself because of some of the things that's happened to me. And I really feel like that those sort of things are powerful. A lot of people say now you got the universe, it's spiritual, these different things. It doesn't matter what you call it. I think the biggest thing is believing in yourself and believing that there's other help out there. No matter what it is. I don't want to identify religion. But what I do want to do is realize that if you believe in something higher or a more powerful, and then you believe in yourself because of that you can do things and realize that things happen for you and not to you, you're going to go places, like you really are. And I think you figured that out because, so many times you say, man, am I on the right path? Like things are happening hard. And am I supposed to be going this way? And I truly believe that nothing happens to us, yet everything happens to us for a reason, but not only for a reason, like we're supposed to deal with certain things that to acquire the strength to go through something harder in advance and in the future. Do you feel that way?
Oh, 100%. What comes to mind is, the leukemia. It was preparing me, I had to, deal with all that stuff and, kind of push through it one thing after another, stuff blowing up, stuff messing up. Oh, you got to get new hips. Oh, you got to get a new shoulder. All this
Yeah.
stuff is preparing me for the business where everything else is
Right.
blowing up in my face. And it probably will keep blowing up in my face until,
It's
I
life,
mean,
man.
yeah.
It's just life. There's so many of us that we get so bogged down by the fact that, man, this is just, it's just life. It just happens because my name's Cody. But that's not the case, man. It's just when you strive to do things, things are going to happen. It's just life. It's all it is. You just got to prepare yourself for it. And I always strive to make more and more money because there's always going to be a shortage somewhere. It doesn't matter if you have $2 million in the bank, you're going to need more at some point. Always.
Yeah, I
Well, man,
swear any stage in my life I made like between the money that came in and what I spent was always the same ratio. There's always somewhere
yeah,
that needs money to be taken, or I don't know.
200%, man. So, is there anything else you want to talk about during this time, or should we go ahead and tell people how they can get a hold of you?
Trying to think if there's anything else I would add. Well, I just put it out there as kind of a little reminder for everybody that everything you go through, it's meant to happen, and there's no such thing as losing if you look at it from the right mindset. Everything that's bad that happens to you, there's always somebody out there that's got it 10 times worse. So then
Yeah,
you can look at it like,
yeah,
oh, you got it 10 times better than them in a way. And
yeah.
just keep that in mind because anything, quote, bad again that happens to you is just preparing you for something bigger, like Eddie said.
You know, I love that because I heard a really good saying one time compared to what? My life sucks. Compared to who? You know, you think about that. And I was listening to an Ed Milet podcast this morning, and he actually said it on this podcast the other day. And it was, you know, he was sitting in a restaurant with his friend and he was really going through a hell of a season. And he's like, man, how's life right now? Like, what are you taking inventory of? Stuff like that. And he's like, dude, my life is absolutely crap. And he said, about that time, two or three people walked through the door, and they were clearly battling cancer. They were, 60, 70 years old. They didn't have any hair. Like they were going through it. And they walked by and they, the most delightful way were just happy. And they said, how are you, sir? In like that. And he just instantly went, wow. Like I just was talking about how bad my life is and how much crap my life is right now. And I compare myself to that, and they're happy about it. Like they were generally going through it and they were like, just happy. And he goes, dude, you are sick. Like you got to rethink about what you're doing right now because this is wrong, man. Like you've got a wife, you got a roof over your head, you've got perfect health, you're going to the gym, like you've got all your parts. You need to take some inventory. And he goes, on the way home, that entire journey home, he took inventory of the good things in his life. And I think we have to take inventory all the time. And that is so true, man. Everything that we've been through, thank you for putting that piece in there because the audience needs to hear that stuff. Compared to what? Like, how bad is it compared to what? I've got people that they come to me and they say, man, Eddie, I feel bad for you, man. you're spending all this money, you're doing all these things, not everything's working for you, everything else. No, man, we're just going through it. That's all we're doing. We're just going through it. It's going to get better because we're not going to quit. The world don't know who they're messing with because we ain't stopping. You can't put enough pressure on this old guy. So I love that, man. So thanks for coming in today and speaking with the audience. How can they get a hold of you?
Yeah, so my website, if you want to take a look at some of my work or what I do, my website's codyromancopy.com. And there should be a contact form or a Calendly link in there if you want to schedule a one-on-one.
Okay.
Or you could just email me at cody@codyromancopy.com.
Very cool, man. Thank you so much. In true fashion, thank you so much for showing up and giving our audience such a great listen here. And I hope this goes viral because it should. It really should. And guys, Eddie Austin here, the host of In the Making of Podcasts. Cody Roman, please go find him on his social media. If you like this, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.